Oke,
Oke, recording in progress, Pak Sena.
ya sudah. Monggo, Bu.
Can we start now ya?
Oke,
Oke,
have a great
oke,
day.
oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
May peace be upon you. Good morning, everyone. The Honorable, the speaker, Mr. Argo Widiharto, and also Mrs. Duwi Nuvitalia from Universitas PGRI Semarang, and then the Honorable Dr. Jennilyn Calimquim, and also Dr. Meljo Apilado from DMMSU Philippines. And then distinguished faculty members, respected all the participant students, and also lecturers from Universitas PGRI Semarang and also DMMSU Philippines. It is a great honor for me to welcome you all to today's guest lecture program between Upgris and also DMMSU. We are grateful to God Almighty for the opportunity to convene in good health and spirit to share knowledge, experience, and innovation in academic. This event represents a vital platform for academic collaboration, professional growth, and the advancement of educational quality across institutional. I am Sari, and I'm privileged to serve you as your moderator for today's program. I kindly invite all the participants to fully engage, interact, and take a part in this exchange of ideas. With that, let us officially commence today's event, and I will read the rundown or short event flows. The first one is opening. I've opened the meeting for today, and then the main session is presentation and discussion. Presentation, there are two sessions, and the first session is Ibu Dwi Novi and also Mr. Meljo, and then the second session is for Mrs. Jennilyn and also Mr. Argo. And the main session, there are presentation and discussion, and also question and answer session. And the last one is closing. I will summarize and take photo for the close event today. Okay. Let's proceed to the first session. Okay. The first is it Mr. Meljo in here?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. I'm here.
Okay. Is it okay if the presenter first is Mrs. Dwi Novi or Mr. Meljo?
It would be all right.
Okay. I think Mrs. Dwi Novi, can you start now to present your material today?
Okay, so I'm the first, Miss Ratna.
Okay. So the screen is yours now.
Okay, okay, wait a minute. Are you seeing this slide?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, I want to.
What about in the Philippines? Have you seen the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. We see the screen, but not
Okay.
in full.
Oh, okay. Not in full, yeah. Okay. Can you make it fully Bu Dwi Novi bisa di full screen? Okay, thank you. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Miss Sari, and good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mrs. Sari, as the moderator for the opportunity given to me. Nice to meet all my friends, great lecture from Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University. This is a state university located in La Union, Philippines. Mr. Meljo and Mrs. Jennilyn and so Mr. Argo from Universitas Persatuan Guru Republik Indonesia, Semarang. On this occasion, we will discuss accuracy and precision in physics measurement. This is our topic about accuracy and precision in physical measurement. We will to start with measurement. Measurement in physics is the process of comparing a physical quantity with a similar quantity that has been defined as a unit. So this process aims to determine the numerical value of a physical property, such as length, mass, or temperature, using appropriate measuring instrument. In this picture, we can see rules, and then to measure mass, temperature, and so the water in gallon. All you know, guys, hearing physics for some people can be scary thing, but actually it's not, because physics is fun. And I want to show this my class. We, lecturer and students, can practice measurement activities. The following are examples of meaningful activities carried out by students. In this picture, measuring of length, and then temperature. This is length, but other object. And then this tenths of blood. Next picture. From this picture, we can see that students enjoy learning basic measurement material, such as measuring length, mass, speed in other class, and temperature, even human blood pressure, and no longer afraid to learning physics. But are the results obtained accurate and precise? So today we will discuss accuracy and precision. Accuracy versus precision. The sum of the object is to hit the bullet as pure as. So we can see the picture. This is fast target. Assume the object is to hit the bull eyes. The blue dart is precise but not accurate. And the red dart is both precise and accurate. Why? We can discuss about that. Let's look at the picture on this side. This is a target fish belonging to the archery group in the city of Semarang, namely Elvas, El Fatih Archery School Semarang. So I borrow this picture to my friend and my child, yeah. And so we can, let's take a picture, this one. Now, this picture, low accuracy, low precision. This the dart is give or spark. And the second picture, low accuracy, high precision, because the dart is a grouping in the one object. And then high accuracy and low precision. The dart is the center and spread in other. And the fourth is high accuracy and high precision. This is the picture when we can study about precision and accuracy. Now, we can discuss one by one. For the first, low accuracy and low precision. For low accuracy and low precision, if the depth of time does not match the target and is inconsistent, or the difference in the values of time is far apart. So we can see this picture. The dart is spread in other line. So we can mention this picture low accuracy and low precision. And then we can see the grouping the dart. This is, we can mention is low accuracy but high precision, not high precision, not high accuracy, but low accuracy because not in the center. So for low accuracy and high precision, if the depth obtained doesn't match the target, but the difference in the values obtained is not fair. You can see the dart is not fair, so we grouping in the one subject. And then the third picture for high accuracy, low precision. For high accuracy and low precision, if the depth obtained meets the target in the middle, but the depth obtained has a slightly different value. So this is so close with the other. We can see this picture. And then the last, high accuracy and high precision. For high accuracy and high precision, if the depth obtained isn't accordant with the target and the difference, the values obtained is small. So this depth or this target grouping in the center of this phase target. Now, let's look at the following picture. When we have two rules and we can see the one picture and second picture. For the up picture, no rule between number 1, 2, etc. But in the bottom, between the 1, 2, 3, etc., we can see the rules of rulers in centimeter. So where is the precise? When we have a which is more precise, we can choose the bottom one is more precise because this picture can describe how to close result of object when we measuring. So next, let's look at the following picture. I want just to say or discuss in high accuracy and high precision. For the high accuracy and high precision, we know that if the depth obtained is in accordance with the target and the difference is the value obtained is small. So this target, we can see grouping to the dart and the center point. So we can see total point, total score in the object is high. And now we can see the mass of in this picture is 10 kilogram. But we can say high accuracy and high precision. We can see 2 in table 1 mass measurement. For the depth of 1 is 9.88 kilogram. Second depth, 9.91. The third, 9.89. For the fourth, 10.01. So we can see the rate of score or result in this measurement of the mass this object is 9.92. So we can see or we can see to speak in this result where the depth is accuracy. What about precision? Yes, this is precision and accuracy because the target and the difference is value obtained is small and the value is 9.92. Yeah. From the accuracy and precision are too important. This is a conclusion for this topic when accuracy and precision are two important concepts in measurement that affect the reliability and validity of result. Understanding the differences and relationship between the two is essential to ensuring accurate and precise measurement, resulting in result that can be relied upon and used to make informed decision. So thank you from this time, and I want to say once again to make our student happy in the class when study about physics. In our class, the student can practice measurement activities. So before the day, I want the student to bring tool of measurement free, and then the student can bring to the class when we have student of physics in subject konsep dasar IPA Fisika. Jadi dalam pembelajaran mata kuliah ya, the object is konsep dasar IPA Fisika when we study about measurement and why the measurement can be action in the class, and we can make the student is enjoy in the class. So the following are example of the meaningful activities carried out by student. And then we can see from the picture that student enjoy learning basic measurement material. We can see this picture, measurement length, mass, speed, temperature, even human blood, and no longer afraid to learning physics. So I have to measuring my human fluid, human blood pressure is normal. Jadi tekanan darah saya normal saat itu ketika mahasiswa mengukur saya. Mungkin dia lulusan dari ini ya, keperawatan, and then choose the Upgris in elementary subject in PGSD Upgris. Thank you, Mrs. Sari. That is my discussion about measurement in physics, subtopic accuracy and precision.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Duwi Nuvitalia, for the material today about measurement for education, elementary education. Okay. Okay, let's proceed to the next presenter. He is Mr. atau Dr. Meljo. Dr. Meljo, where are you now?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much.
Okay,
A pleasant
thank
good
you.
morning to one and all. Again, I am Dr. Meljo Apilado of the Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State Universities, and I am at the Open University System, the distance education arm of the university. All right.
Okay. Okay, but before you explain your material today, just remind for your for the all speakers today that the time for presentation for each speaker is 20 minutes maximal. Okay, okay.
That's well
Think
noted.
okay, thank you. Time is yours, Dr. Meljo.
All right. Greetings from our country. Mabuhay. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Again, this is Dr. Meljo Apilado, and I would like to acknowledge also our partners within the university and the organizers. A pleasant morning to everybody. I'd like to share to you the screen of my presentation for today. All right. So my topic is all about momentum, and this is actually a topic in physics. I'm pretty sure some of our students or some of you are so afraid in when or upon hearing the subject physics, just like Ma'am Duwi a while back, that some of the students are actually having difficulty in terms of the different subject areas, particularly in sciences. But that depends upon us, depending upon how we deliver our topic. So mine is actually all about momentum, and we will be discussing what momentum is, how momentum is actually conserved, uh, the momentum in physics, its impulses, and of course, I have added momentum in an organization. So let's take the definition of momentum. When we speak of momentum, it refers to the force that drives progress in both systems rather, and organizations. An object with a lot of momentum is also hard to stop. That is why some say that when they have reached their momentum, it is very difficult for them to stop. In organizational momentum, once the momentum of the organization is already on its peak, then it's very difficult to stop. Now, other than that, momentum is actually the word momentum is actually taken from the Latin word pitere, which means to go toward or to seek. To seek the idea of motion or tendency of the object to continue moving in the same direction. That is why when we speak of momentum, it is not just a scalar quantity, but it is a vector quantity. Here are some examples of momentum. Like when you are running, spiking a ball, a valuable ball during a game, a moving car towards a certain direction. Right. So those are actually examples. And this time, let's take how we could actually conserve momentum. In everyday language, conservation means saving resources. You might conserve water or fossil fuel, for instance. The word conservation has a more specific meaning in physical sciences. In physical science, conservation refers to the condition before and after some event. Let's take this.
Berapa, Pak? Nama ini.
Sorry
When
for the
basketball ball hits the volleyball ball, right? Let's say the ball weighs 0.6 kilogram and it rolls for 1.5 meter per second. Eventually, it rolls back to 1.5 meter per second. Both objects have their momentum switch up, taking each other's velocity. And eventually continuously rolling to 4 meter per second square, or 4 meter per second, I should say. All right. I'm sorry. Okay. Due to the collision between objects with equal masses, both objects have their momentum switch upon taking each other's velocity. The total momentum after the collision remained, satisfying the law of momentum. There are different ways of momentum is actually conserved. There. So the first one is actually ball one and the ball two. Ball one is actually moving towards the other side, and ball two is actually constant. And then after hitting ball two, then the velocity turns into zero. Right? For instance, a 4 meter per second, this is another case. And then after collision, their velocity is actually constant to 2 meter per second, moving towards one direction. Okay. Now let's try to calculate by using the following formulas. For force, we all know that force is equal to mass times acceleration with this formula. For momentum, P is equal to mass times velocity. Again, the P here is actually taken from its Latin term, which is pitere, and acceleration is equal to the change in velocity over time. The impulse is actually force times the change in time, which is equal to mass times velocity. And the conservation of momentum, your initial mass and the initial velocity rather, plus the final or second object's mass and velocity equal, which is equal to the mass or the quantity of the first or the mass of the first object plus the second object times their velocity. So let's take a look at this one. The problem is, what is the momentum of the child and wagon if the total mass of the child and the wagon is 22 kilogram and velocity is 1.5 meter per second, right? So let's try to answer this problem. What is the formula? By the way, let's identify the different quantities here. In solving problem, we need to determine what are the quantities. So first, one of the quantities here is 1.5 meter per second. What is that? That is the velocity. And what is 22 kilogram? That is the mass. And what is the problem? We are looking for the momentum. Therefore, we will be using the formula P is equal to M times V, right? So applying it, the mass of the object is 1.5 meter per second to be multiplied by 22 kilogram, which is equivalent to, the answer is 33 kilogram meter per second. That is the value of the momentum. Now, we take the second problem here. A 0.6 kilogram ball generates 218 kilogram meter per second units of momentum. What is its velocity or the velocity of the ball? Again, the same process. In solving problem like this, we need to determine the different quantities. 0.6 kilogram, that is for mass. 218 kilogram meter per second is actually our momentum. And we are looking for, the unknown for this product is actually the velocity. Therefore, what could be the formula? V is equal to P or the momentum over the mass. So applying it, we have 218 kilogram meter per second divided by 0.6 kilogram, and we will get 367.33 meter per second. So where is the kilogram in there? It cancels already since we are actually looking for velocity. Okay? Next. Here, momentum and impulse. Momentum, as we have said a while back, is the measure of the motion of the object and is calculated as the product of an object's mass and velocity. It is a vector quantity, which means it has both the magnitude and the direction. And when we speak of impulse, it is the change in momentum caused by applying a force over a period of time. It explains how forces can alter an object's motion. Okay? Now, let's take a look at this. Hitting a wall versus another car, then what could be their difference? What happens when a car crashes? That is between two cars. Does it matter if you hit another car? The car is actually running and suddenly hit a wall. Take a guess. The answer is it doesn't matter at all. Why? In both situations, the change in time, the mass, and the velocity are actually the same. The time it takes you to stop depends on your car. The mass is the mass of your car, and the change in the velocity depends on how fast you are initially traveling. Let's take a look at the egg dropped from a certain height. There. Let's try to go back to the egg dropped from a certain height. Basically, when an egg dropped from a certain height, it will eventually break, right? But for the second illustration a while, with the pillow, it's actually a suppressant, okay, of the weight of the object. That is why it will not break. And for this situation, the child is on a sled moving down a hill at 20 kilometers per second. The combined mass of the sled and the child is 100 kilograms, and the momentum of the child and the sled is still a problem on momentum. So applying the formula, then we will get D, correct, 2,000 kilograms. And here's how. Let's take another problem. When is linear momentum conserved? Is it when only nonlinear forces are present? Is it when more linear than nonlinear forces are in the system? Or when internal forces exceeds external forces? Or D, when the net force on the system is zero? Any guess? The correct answer is when the net force of the system is zero. Here's the reason why. Linear momentum is conserved when no external forces act on a system or when the net external force is zero. This follows the Newton's second law of principles of conservation of momentum, which states that in an isolated system, no external forces, the total momentum remains constant. Okay? It is constant, meaning it is the same. Next. What about momentum in an organization? Remember my first illustration a while back about running, a boy running, then a player in a volleyball do the spike towards the ball, and then the moving car towards a certain direction. Let's take a cultural momentum. This involves the shared values, beliefs, and behaviors that enhance or hinder organizational progress. A positive organizational culture can create momentum for innovation and collaboration. Positive work culture boosts innovation. In some cases, if differences occur, specifically in our beliefs, specifically coming from the culture, then probably it is an avenue for us not to move forward. That seemed to be a hindrance for us. That is why in an organization, we should recognize cultural differences, right? Next, cultural momentum, according to Google, it is an open and creative environment. Like Google, 20% time for personal projects. The sustainer employees development, flexible work policies, and knowledge sharing. And barrier, example, bureaucracy or restrictive policies may stifle creativity. That is very correct. Next one, we also have strategic momentum. This is actually created by aligning actions and resources with long term goals. It often involves continuous improvement and adaptability in strategies to meet challenging market demands and align rather actions with goals. Let's take the case of Tesla. Tesla's mission to revolutionize transformation through electric vehicle and sustainable energy. And what is their sustainer? Ongoing innovation in battery technology, autonomous driving, and global expansion. And what is their barrier? Regulatory challenges, supply chain disruption, or increased competition slowing progress. Next, operational momentum. This relates to the efficiency and effectiveness of processes within the organization. Streamlined operations can lead to increased productivity and greater ability to capitalize on opportunities, streamline processes for productivity. The case of Amazon. Amazon's customer centric logistic, including one day delivery and automation. They're actually very good at that. And their sustainer, the AI driven supply chain, automated warehouses, and data driven decision making. And the barrier, labor strikes, government regulations, or system inefficiencies disrupting operational flow. And leadership momentum. Strong leaders can actually inspire employees and drive change through vision, motivation, and clear communication. Effective leadership foster a sense of urgency and a commitment to organizational goals. Vision and motivation inspire teams. Let's take the case of Apple. Steve Jobs' visionary leadership, emphasizing innovation, design, and simplicity. Tim Cook's operational expertise, expansion into new markets, and sustained brand loyalty. And their barrier, lack of groundbreaking products or leadership misalignment, could weaken their momentum. And we also have the innovation momentum. Organizations that encourage creativity and experimentation may experience sustained momentum through new products, services, or processes that keep them competitive. Creativity fosters competitiveness. Let's take the case of the SpaceX. SpaceX goal to make space travel more affordable and sustainable through reusable rockets. Their sustainer, rapid prototyping, cost-efficient launches, and continuous research and development. And their barrier, technical failures, funding limitations, or regulatory restrictions delaying progress. And that's all for this session about momentum. Thank you so much and have a great day to one and all.
Thank you, Mr. Meljo. So before we move to ask and answer question, question and answer, I will conclude that for the speaker of today. For that, I think accuracy and precision in measurement is good, and I think it is very valuable when we apply it in our daily life. For example, we can learn about measurement and accuracy for elementary students, and then for Mr. Uh, Mr. Meljo, momentum happens in our life. For example, in Tesla technology, we or maybe when we drive a car, momentum it is also can be happen. The word momentum also can be used in some of our leadership or maybe an innovation, I think. So I think my conclusion for the first session is all. And maybe is there any question for the speaker for today? three question first. Three question for the students, or maybe for the lecture. If you have a question, you may ask Bu Nuvi or Mr. Meljo. Is there any question for the participant? Students, lectures, you may ask the speaker. No question, Pak Sena.
Okay,
Is
maybe
it
I
okay?
want to ask to Mrs. Nuvi and Dr. Melchi.
Okay.
Okay, nice presentation ya from Mrs. Nuvi and Dr. Melcho. I like media from Dr. Melcho. It's very interactive ya. Although I don't understand about physics. I'm sorry ya, I don't understand about physics. How what is momentum or what is measurement and etc. But I want to ask to Dr. Meljo and Miss Novi how to uh, teach physics easily for primary school students. Yeah, because we know that in elementary school, in primary school, uh, we have to teach about science learning or yes, science learning. Yeah, one of the method maybe from physics. Gitu. I see the formulas from Dr. Miljo. I can I can understand it. So how to teach it to easily? Yeah, how to teach it easily for a student in primary school. Thank you. Gitu.
All right. So let me start by answering that question. Ma'am Dewey, it would be all right if I will be the one to answer it first. Okay. So she responded, but I haven't heard her. She's actually on mute. All right. So I once then become a science teacher before in the elementary, and I learned that it's very difficult for me to put down my level from a tertiary or coming from a high school classroom or tertiary classroom going down into the elementary level. What I did is that you have to know your subject very well and think of the possible examples that are actually within their level, right? Because, of course, when you flash it on your screen or when you wrote it on the board, the different formulas, then you might actually putting something into the mind of the children. Uh, th- they may not be appreciating it at all. But when you actually use the different media in the delivering of this kind of subject matter, then it will become more exciting and more appealing to them. Okay, it is very important that you know your subject matter because when you fail to know the subject matter and going down into the basic, then probably you can actually convey righteous information to your learners. That would be my answer to that, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Meljo. But Mr. Meljo, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay.
What is it, ma'am?
I am okay. I am a teacher of early childhood education. So, do you
Yeah.
think that physics is also can be learned for the early childhood students?
Yes, actually, ma'am, I'm also an early childhood graduate.
Okay,
I actually had
good.
another degree for that. Yeah, and well, actually, we can actually teach this particular subject. We might not be defining it the way we define it now, but we define it based on what they experience, based on what they see on their day-to-day living. By that, they can relate. Because when we define something that is very foreign to them, then they can't embrace it at all. But if it is new and familiar to them, then probably they can appreciate it even more.
So, how to prepare the teacher for teacher early childhood to explain about physics in early years daily life? How to
Mhm.
Can you explain it for me?
Yeah,
How
for
can you?
example, okay,
Yeah.
I'll take our subject for today.
Okay.
We discuss about momentum. The effect when, for example, momentum we defined a while back, it is when a certain body is traveling on a linear direction, and they all actually have an access to vehicle, correct? And they ride from their home to the school. And eventually, we can use that as an example in teaching momentum. That whenever they're riding on a vehicle from their way to, I mean, from their homes to the school, then all of a sudden they may experience some um, areas where they need to decelerate, they need to accelerate. And what happens more if you know if let's say they bumped it into another object while they're traveling. That is why one of the values that we can integrate there is that we can integrate the value of um, teaching them to, I mean, the things that they need to have when they are crossing or passing into a busy street there. As simple as those, right? We might, just like what I've said a while back, we might not be defining it the way we've defined it right a while back, very lexical, but we can actually articulate it and use the definition based to their level of understanding.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Meljo, for your
You're
explanation.
welcome, ma'am.
Good explanation for us. Okay. I think for the first session is enough ya Mbak Sena ya.
Mr. Sari,
So we ya. Oh, iya lupa.
it's okay.
Yes, Bu Nuhi,
Ayo,
please you
Any
Mr.
may
question of
Sari.
answer.
Mr. Sena
Okay.
about teaching
Sorry.
science is a fun way gitu ya. Learning science in a fun way, namely by involving students to take action in the class, and then students are made happy first. Uh, for the first, made happy first for our student in the class. This is the key to study physics. And then integrating everyday life into learning. Learning new basic concept, the first basic, and then mathematic or calculation. So we can explain the student can be basic concept and then mathematic or calculation, not calculation or mathematic formula in this basic. I hope this strategy can be student so happy in the class. And then I tell student I don't like learning that is rigid and scary. So we are going to have fun by integrating it into learning. It's my answer, Mrs. Sari, to study science or physics in the class. The first is made happy my student in the class.
Okay, good. Thank you, Bu Novi. Involving the students in a class, it's a good way to learn physics. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And not
Thank you.
the first mathematic or calculation, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Basic concept
Terima
the first.
kasih. Ya. Terima kasih, Bu Novi.
You're
Baik.
welcome.
I think we can proceed to the next session, Mbak Sena. For the second session is for Pak Argo and also Mrs. Jenny. But Pak Argo, is it okay if you present the last person, the last speaker?
I think it's okay.
Okay. We give a screen for Mrs. Jenny first. Yeah. Mrs. Jenny,
Okay.
where are you now? Okay.
Thank you so much.
You. The screen is yours,
Okay.
Mrs. Jenny.
Yes, I'll just present my screen. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Good morning, everyone. Um, I am Jennilyn R. Calimquim, a faculty of Dimsu SLUC. Salamat pagi semuanya. I would like to extend my gratitude to Upgris for giving me this opportunity and also to the organizers and to Dimsu, of course. So today I'll be sharing to you the topic entitled Inclusive Education for a Changing World, Preparing Teachers for Diversity in the Classroom. So it's all about inclusive education. So this topic is timely and vital because of the rapidly evolving educational landscape. So here are the objectives of this topic. Here are the objectives. And as well as the subtopics that we will be touched in this particular topic. First, we have the history of inclusive education, the PVMG of inclusive education, the benefits of inclusive education, the 13 categories of exceptionality according to IDEA or Individuals with Disability Education Act, and the strategies on how to handle those different exceptionalities. Okay. And when we say exceptionality, actually it's about it is used to describe the students whose learning, behavior, and then development, which is differ significantly from what we call as the norm, or it could be above or below the average. So when we are going to plot that in a normal curve, they actually lies on the left side of the normal curve or at the right side of the normal curve. So, did you know that? So let's start with some preliminaries. Did you know that some of our favorite cartoon characters actually portray exceptionality, and they actually represents exceptionalities or based from the 13 categories of idea for children with special needs. Now, let's take a look at these characters and their unique qualities and abilities for us to really appreciate children with special needs. So you may use your chat box if you want to answer. Now, let's have the first cartoon character. So for the first one, we do have, this is actually SpongeBob. And he is actually considered to have ADHD due to his hyperactive, impulsive behavior and then constant shift in attention. Okay. The next one, we do have Quasimodo, which is from the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And Quasimodo exceptionality lies in his physical deformities, which is we often termed as the other health impairment. He also have hearing impairment and visual impairment. If we're going to combine all those exceptionalities, it is included in the multiple disabilities. Okay. Next, we have Julia from Sesame Street. So her character actually exhibits traits such as difficulty in social interaction, and she also have preference for routines and sensory sensitivity. Next, we have Squidward, which is he is also considered to have EBD or emotional and behavioral disorder due to his frequent irritability, mood swings, and social withdrawal and anger outbursts. Next, we have Patrick the Star. He is considered to have Down syndrome, which is often termed as the trisomy 21, which is named after John Langdon Down. He have actually extra copy in the 21st in their 21st chromosome. So he is considered to have intellectual disability, which is the main umbrella for that, resembling traits of that with a Down syndrome due to his simple, slow thinking nature and then limited in his problem solving skills. Next, we do have the Looney Tune characters, which are considered to have speech and language impairments due to their exaggerated speech patterns, mispronunciations, and then non-standard language use. And lastly, We do have Mr. Krabs, although also from SquarePants, SpongeBob the SquarePants. He is considered to have obsessive compulsive disorder, which is under the other health impairment or emotional and behavioral disorder due to his obsessive greed of money, impulsive actions, and then frequent emotion outbursts. So those are just some of the examples of those students that we will be dealing in the inclusive education classroom. So next, about inclusive education. Now let's define inclusive education. Inclusive education, or the Republic Act 11650, which is also known as the Inclusive Education Act here in the Philippines, which really mandates that children with special needs should now be educated in the regular education classroom, side by side together with their peers or non-disabled peers. So the basis for this Republic Act in the Philippines is that the International Human Rights Law, which is the UNCRPD, or the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and the UNCRC, or the United Nations Conventions on the Rights of the Child. So I'll just want to give you the definition coming from the UNICEF about inclusive education. So according to the UNICEF, inclusive education is the most effective way to give all children the fair chance to go to school, learn and develop skills they need to thrive. And inclusive education also allows students of all backgrounds to learn and grow side by side to the benefit of all. Now let's have the timeline on how did that particular inclusive education come into. Now, the timeline shows the history of inclusive education, which reflects a gradual shift from the segregated educational system to more integrated and equitable approaches that we are now doing nowadays. So from 17th century, children with special needs are not accepted in the society. They are being ostracized, and they are even segregated. So from early 1800s, there were no education for them. They are not allowed to have their education. They are deprived of their right to education. And in 1500s, they are now educated in an isolated school, which we refer as SPED schools. And in 1900s, they have the separate classes. And in 1975, up to now, that's now the inclusive education. Now let's dig it deeper. In the 17th century, children who behave differently from the majority of children were considered to be abnormal and not really accepted in the society. So people at that time labeled those students as idiots, insane, and insisting them that they should not be prioritized in terms of educational attainment. That's according to Mayor 2021. So the history of inclusive education has evolved from no education to isolated schools in 1850s, wherein in that particular school, children with the same exceptionality are being catered, or it could be all of the exceptionalities according to IDEA, or Individuals with Disability Education Act. So children with special needs in that time were educated in separate schools. They believing that specialized instruction is needed, but it should be in separate setting. But the downfall for that is that schools often isolate students with special needs farther from the society and farther from their peers without exceptionality. And here comes in 1920s, here comes that in that particular time, they were now educated in what we call as separate classes. So from separate school, they are now educated in the separate classes. It's actually a SPED center, or a school within the school concepts. wherein in the regular education school, there is a specific room as refer that as the SPED Center, wherein they educate children with special needs in the setting near the regular education school. So that particular concept was established to provide specialized instruction for the students with special needs within the mainstream school, but it in an isolated setting also. So these classes allowed for more tailored teaching method, but continued to segregate students from their peers without exceptionality. And it also limit them in social interactions and in full participation in the general education environment. But today, from 1975 up to now, we are now enjoying the inclusive education, which backed up by IDEA and LRE, which is the least restrictive environment. And they are now using the resources that the regular education students are enjoying. And they now have access also for the general education curriculum. And they are also being taught by the general education teachers with the extra support coming from the special education teachers. Okay, today, people give these children the chance to live life as normal as they could get, and they are provided special education programs in helping and supporting them in their learning process. That's according to Mayor 2021. So, what's the difference between special education and inclusive education? For special education, it is especially designed to satisfy the needs of students with disabilities and to help them learn information and skills that other students are learning. It could be in the different setting. It could be it is not only limited in the four walls of the classroom. It could be in the classroom, at home, or homebound, hospitals or hospital bounds, and other private institutions. Okay. And in terms of, ayan, okay, inclusion, or in the philosophy of inclusive education, the inclusion movement is based on the philosophy that special needs students belong to the general education classroom. They should now be educated in the general classroom, given that they should belong in that particular classroom, and then they will be provided with quality education, additional support and intervention coming from the teachers. It could be from the general education teachers or the special education teachers. And they will be provided with safety or least restrictive environment. And actually, the main goal of inclusive education is that children with special needs should be mainstream in the regular education classroom before they could be mainstream in the society. Okay, so actually mainstreaming and inclusive education, when we say mainstreaming, it's actually you are preparing students with special needs to be included in the regular education classroom. And inclusion, it's actually the right to participate. Okay, and we do have, use two classifications of inclusion, and we do incorporate that in our classes in the laboratory school. We actually using partial inclusion and full inclusion. When we say partial inclusion, children with special needs are educated in the regular classroom most of the day, and for full inclusion, special needs students are always educated with non-disabled peers. So they are in a regular classroom from the start of the classes up to the end of the class. That's the full inclusion. Okay. As to the benefits of inclusive education, it will be both beneficial to children with special needs, to students in the regular class, as well as to the parents, because of it has academic growth, which when we say exposure to inclusive education based on the different research could actually enhance their learning. And it's all about equality and equity, social and emotional development for students with special needs. And it encourages um, individual growth, promote diversity and tolerance, because exposure in to diversity helps the students understand and appreciate the differences, which really fosters for a more tolerant and inclusive society. Next, we have reduce stigma, and inclusive education actually fosters for empathy, respect, which could really break the stereotypes. And number seven, it encourages parents' involvement. Actually, it's very crucial wherein inclusive education, it really encourages parental involvement and letting them be part of the decision making, because they are part of the multidisciplinary team who will be creating the IEP or individualized educational program for students with special needs. Okay. Now, what are those exceptionalities aside from what we have mentioned before about, so we will be catering different exceptionalities. That's according to IDEA, or Individualized Disabilities Education Act. Actually, it categorizes children with exceptionalities into 13 categories. When we say children with special needs, we're not only dealing with students with autism, ADHD, and others. Actually, it has 13 categories, and based from that 13 categories, it also has subcategories that we have to deal with. And they should be properly diagnosed by developmental pediatricians and other doctors. I'll just want to present it just one by one. So IDEA is actually a U.S. federal law that guarantees students with disabilities a free and appropriate public education, which tailored to their specific needs. So the prior name for the IDEA was originally the Education for All Handicapped Children Act, which was passed in 1975 and later amended into IDEA in 1990.
Excuse
Here,
me, Mrs. Jenny,
yes, ma'am.
you have 3 minutes left.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
So, those are the different exceptionality. We have the SLD, autism, other health impairments, and visual impairments, speech and language impairments, deafness, and others. So as a teacher, all we have to do is to teach them. If the students don't learn the way we teach, we should teach them the way they learn. Okay, and we have to take note of their exceptionality, their and the thing that they really need for them to prosper. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Jenny.
Thank you po.
I think we should proceed to the last presenter, and then we have a question and answer and discussion, I think. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Jenny, for the material for today about inclusive education. Okay, Pak Argo, have you ready?
Okay, I am ready, Miss Sari. Okay,
Okay.
just a moment, I prepare my.
Today Pak Argo will present about deep learning in reducing bullying. So he is a good at bullying. Sorry. He's good at about his research and his active material in education about bullying ya Pak ya, bullying.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Argo, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Miss Sari. I will present my material.
Argo, too small.
Oh, okay, okay. Just a moment.
Yeah,
It's okay
make it
now?
more bigger. Yeah, I think you open to halaman ya Pak ya ini ya jadinya kecil.
Okay, it's okay.
Okay,
I
it's
try
okay.
to present in big, but I don't know what about my computer. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Miss Sari. Good afternoon to everyone. I will deliver my material, and the title is How Does the Concept of Deep Learning to Reduce Bullying? Okay, ini that is the Minister Primary and Secondary Education has issued a new concept in learning, namely its concept of deep learning. According the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Prof. Dr. Abdul Muti, he said that deep learning is not curriculum, but a learning approach that aims to improve the ability to understand.
Argo, are you okay? Pak Argo,
Hello, hello.
yeah, your slide is lost.
Okay,
Okay,
my signal is not good.
okay.
Okay, okay, repeat again. It's okay, Miss Shari?
Okay, you can start now.
Okay, I'm sorry, my trouble. I continue my present. Okay. About deep learning. Yes. In the according the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Prof. Dr. Abdul Muti state that deep learning is not curriculum, but is learning approach that aim to improve the ability to understand and teaching material in depth. This approach does not really on the amount of material, but rather on the understand of the material in depth, and so is truly master. Okay, the definition of deep learning is approach that clarify by expressing the creation of the learning atmosphere and meaningful, and joyful learning process. This kind of learning atmosphere will make students happier in the learning process at school so that it can reduce their academic stress. This academic stress result is decreasing learning achievement and deviant behavior in students, including behavior of bullying. Okay, now this is the cause of bullying is behavior can be explained from dog social information process ini processing theory and accessory and memory moral development theory. In the social information processing theory, it is implied that the perpetrator or victim of bullying experience error in clarifying and interpreting information and making decision regarding the response received. The perpetrator or victim on bullying cannot process information properly, which is called social blindness. In this theory, the perpetration of bullying and victim of bullying experience error in the clarification and interpretation state of the information received, so that for the perpetration, the behavior carried out toward the bullying victim is respond because of behavior on the bullying victim toward the perpetrator of bullying. As a result, the perpetrator of bullying are also wrong in making decisions to provide a response. This is what causes bullying behavior. Error in clarification interpretation of information occurred because of hasty or not deep awareness and meaning of information. Thus, if students are to not to rush and to clarify when there is information that is not clear, then response error will not occur so that the pattern of friendship interaction will be better. And then theory of morality. This is a two theory then to describe bullying. In the theory of moral development, there are four things as the basic for people behavior, namely one, moral sensitively. Become aware of emerging moral issue. Two, moral judgment, decision based on moral action. Three, moral motivation, commitment to a value and priority of moral action. And then four, moral character, implementation of moral action. In case of bullying, the bully is unable to properly understand these four factors according to the moral value of society. The perpetrator is not aware of the emergence of moral problem due to his behavior because he considers what he does to be in according with a personal moral judgment of the bully. For example, when the perpetrator repeatedly mock the victim, the perpetrator considered the mocking to be something normal and permissible for the perpetrator to do. On the other hand, in fact, according to the moral value of society, the mockery should not be done because it makes the victim feel uncomfortable. Let Okay, I continue. Through the deep learning, the problem of moral understanding can be better because children are in fact to understand moral value through experiential learning so that the true meaning of moral value is understood and carried out, not just now, without being done. For example, children are invited to experience directly how they feel when this is banned their friend and then invited to discuss their feeling. And the feeling of their friend is the teaching accident. I'm sorry. Not. Deep moral understanding through moral learning with deep learning will make students more sensitive to the emerge of moral problems such as the dilemma of whether teasing a friend who seems strange in his behavior is something normal on society acceptable or it should not be done. In addition, students are also told to make decisions based on moral action that are in accordance with norm. By getting used to a sensitive moral, a correct moral judgment, moral character will be formed in student. conclusion, thus the deep learning process through mindful, meaningful, and joyful learning process can help children to process social information and essential moral understanding so as to reduce bullying behavior. This is what I can convey regarding how deep learning can be alternative in dealing with bullying behavior, which is still a problem in the world of education, especially in Indonesia. Thank you, and I return to moderator. I hope this is uh, my material.
So,
The
okay. Okay, let's proceed for the presenter. If there are any question, you can raise hand or you can write in the chat box what kind of question you want to answer from the speakers. You can ask Mr. Argo, you can ask Mr. Jenny, or maybe again Nuvi or Mr. Meljo. Anyone who want to ask from the speakers? Okay, if there is no not presenter, participant who want to ask, so Mrs. Jenny, Mrs. Jenny, is it okay if I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am. It's okay.
Okay, I'm very impressed with your SpongeBob.
That's me.
So my children also still watching SpongeBob where
Yes.
they in free time. So do you think is it that all the actors in SpongeBob have problems? I mean, SpongeBob and Patrick and mungkin do you think
Yes,
that they
ma'am.
have their own problems?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Okay. Thank you so much, mom, for that. Actually, almost all the characters in the SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah. Not maybe you just you can choose two characters only. For example, Patrick and Mr. Crab maybe. Uh, mm, Mrs. Jenny, Riz. Oh,
okay,
okay.
okay.
Yeah,
You
sorry. We do
sudah kembali
experience
lagi.
power.
You go back.
Sounds yes, ma'am. Sorry, we do experience power interaction
Okay.
in our
Okay.
area. Yes. To answer your question, ma'am. Yes, actually, most of the cartoon characters in the SpongeBob the SquarePants can be interpreted to have emotional and behavioral disorder. They're really having almost all of the exceptionalities under the emotional and behavioral disorder. Say for example, for SpongeBob, he have ADHD or attention deficit hyperactive disorder. For Squidward, he shows signs of depression, the bitterness, and social withdrawal, which is termed as to have anxiety and depression. For Patrick the Star, he often acts very low with that very low intelligence and sometimes hitting with some cognitive issues, which is often termed as with intellectual disability or specifically Down syndrome. And Mr. Krabs, who is really extremely greedy in terms of money, he has obsessive compulsive disorder. Okay. And for Plankton,
Yeah.
who displayed obsessive narcissistic disorder. And for
Narcissistic.
Sandy, yes, ma'am. For Sandy, he might seen as overly competitive and isolated.
So,
And
do you think
almost all of them.
Okay. Do you think that if they had their own problem, so the film is good for early years, or maybe for the uh maybe not only for early years, yeah, maybe for the mature students. Do you think it's okay they watch SpongeBob?
Actually, SpongeBob, it can be very entertaining for very young kids, but it's a bit a mix of tag, which comes, it's good for them. So for early intervention or early exposure, but sometimes there are those um, part of that show which is not good for them. Okay, say for example, for the emotions being portrayed by some of the characters. So it's the parental guidance is also
Okay.
important, and teacher guidance is also important for that.
Okay. So for the young learners,
Yes.
they want to watch SpongeBob, they need a parental guidance, or
Yes.
yeah. But for us, maybe it's just
Yes.
for entertaining only. Yeah.
Entertainment. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you very
Jenny.
much, ma'am, for that.
Pak Argo, there anyone to ask Pak Argo about deep learning in reducing bullying?
Yes, in chat.
Seems that
Is
no
that
one asked you, so I ask you, yeah.
okay? Okay.
Pak
In
Argo,
Indonesia, Mr. Sari.
why in Indonesia? It is international. Or maybe you can ask your wife to translate it.
My web at home, Mr. Sari.
Okay, Pak Argo, uh, you know well about bullying, so
Yeah.
how to help, or maybe how to solve if bullying happens in early years students.
Okay. How to help bullying? Especially perpetrator, Miss Sari. Yes, in the early children, we have to uh, teach them to moral value, such as moral value in Japanese, about how they make friend, they respect the other, empathy, as and etc. This is uh, based on moral in Indonesia. So we can do experiential learning too, through game maybe, such as um, ular tangga or peta umpet in Japanese. It is game to teach them to how they explain the moral judgment. I think this is how to teach young person to how to respect the others, Miss Sari.
Okay,
Hello, Miss Sari?
finish? Yeah,
Yes,
finish?
I think it's finished.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Argo, for the explanation. Okay. I think Pak Sena, there is no question anymore. So Pak Sena.
Oh, wait for a moment, Miss Wahyu. Excuse me.
Okay, so I think I will conclude all of the speakers today, yeah. Uh for the first session, we have to learn, maybe physics is a good, or physics is happen in our daily life. So we can learn about physics because it can be used in our daily life for all the member of the students, from the young learners to the higher learners. So, and then the second session, that uh, we can I can conclude that integrated the value of teaching in our daily life, and then involving the student, and also wait, I have make a note, take a notes. Yeah. And also inclusive education is good. Uh, we need to prepare it in diversity, because inclusive has many benefit in education. For example, equality, equity, social, and emotional diversity, tolerant, and also we have to remember that parental involvement, it is very important to uh, to accompany our children. And for Pak Argo, I think teaching moral value according our culture will help to reduce bullying. Yeah, Pak Argo. I think that's all for today. My conclusion. And then Pak Arsena, Pak Sena, can we stop now? Or
Yes, Miss Sari, I think enough.
okay,
But before we end this case lecture, we have to take a picture together.
okay, okay. Before I close, I give a close remark. So we have to take a picture first. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
For the members, all the speakers, and also the participant in here. So give me a good action. Oke, Pak Sena, silakan.
Mas Salam, can you assist me from the first slide? Next slide. Salam. Okay. It's finished, Mas Salam, already. Okay. Okay, thank you, Miss Sari.
Okay, finish taking picture, yeah. Okay. I think it's hard to believe that we've come to the end of the day's enriching guest lecture program. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to all of the guest lecturers for sharing your valuable knowledge, experience, and insight with us. We hope that the connection made and the wisdom shared today will continue to inspire and enhance our academic journeys. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to everyone who has contributed of to the success of this event, whether by being here with us today or supporting the event behind the scenes. Finally, we apologize for any shortcoming throughout the program, and we look forward to the future collaboration and academic exchange. Thank you once again, and we hope we meet again in the future event. Have a great day, and let's continue to learn and grow together. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Miss
Thank
Sari.
you, Miss
Thank
Yeni.
you, Miss
Thank you
Jenny.
for all.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for